Well, hello, and welcome to I Love Gay today. And we have a sweet tooth about us today. We are here with Jeffrey Reich-Hale from Jelvin's Candy Shop. How are you?
Good. How are you, Matt? Thanks for having me today.
Oh, it's so I was when I was discovering more about what you do and what you offer. It's just, well, first of all, I have a husband with a sweet tooth, so he by himself is going to fall in love with what you're doing. But I have a feeling a lot of our audience will as well.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, let me just tell you, it's dangerous to have a candy shop and have a sweet tooth myself, as well as my husband does too. So we stay away from our inventories.
I don't blame you. But no, you're different. You're not just a candy shop. You're and to quote it from your website, you say it's a charity candy store. But what I would say is really a candy store with a purpose. But yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Correct. So this idea came about because I always wanted to have my own candy store and I always wanted to have my own charity. I worked in a candy store when I was in high school, loved every second of it. And I've been volunteering one way or another since my high school days, not because mom and dad told me to or because someone said, it just was something that naturally came to me. So been working for years in the hospitality industry, 25 plus years, went on my own as a consultant a couple of years ago. And right after a year after I created the consulting company, I decided to just plow forward and create this vision that I had and combine both those charity dreams and the candy store dreams into one business. So Jelvin's Candy Shop, by the way, my name is Jeffrey and my husband's name is Kelvin. So that'll tell you where Jelvin's comes from.
Yeah.
And I combine those two dreams to create Jelvin's Candy Shop, a charity candy store where at the end of the day, 60% of our net profits go to our two main charities, which is AIDS Foundation of Houston and Barrio Dogs.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are really kind of an integral part now of the LGBT community, especially business community in Houston. But not only are you NGLCC certified, but also you're telling me you're part of you guys have programs that you're doing working with the Greater Houston LGBT Chamber as well.
Correct. Yes, sir. We for Pride Month coming up, we are working with the Greater Houston LGBT Chamber of Commerce to create a promotion that I'm working on creating a code for them. That's a 5% discount. We didn't want to do too big of a discount because then it takes away from the end purpose, which is to give back. So any nets 25% of our net profits from sales from using this discount code will go right back into supporting the Greater Houston LGBT Chamber of Commerce. I've been working with the president of the chamber, Tammy Wallace, on this, so I'm super excited.
Oh, they've got to love that. So no, that's really, like I said, it's very different, and I think it's going to be inspiring for folks, especially a big part of your business model is just making it clear that if the LGBT community wants to buy gifts for someone, there's a reason why your company and buying candy this way would be hopefully top of mind.
Absolutely. So there's so many gift options out there. You've got edible arrangements, 1-800-Flowers. All those different company options, and they're all fantastic. I'm good with competition. That's what the market's about, right? But none of them, or even some of these companies, whether it's them or others, they all give back. Sure, they may be 5-10%, but I have this completely different model of hashtag purchase with purpose. I'm trying to teach people about conscious capitalism, that you could be successful and comfortable without having that complete corporate greed, if you will, and so forth. Again, I get we're in a capitalist society, but I think we can do better altogether. And being LGBT just makes it that much more impactful, I think, too, to show that what we're trying to do is just help the world and make the world a better place.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, but you're talking about especially with LGBT, a big part of your you now have the domains candies.lgbt, candyman.lgbt. What's how does that factor in for your business?
I mean, I got excited when I found out about these options because obviously I'm a member of the community and have been so for since the day I was born, just came out a little later. But it's so important. You have the .coms, the .orgs, everyone's recognized out there in the web, if you will, but the .lgbt wasn't. And as soon as I found out, I realized how important it was to make sure that I grab those and have the representation out there.
Oh, yeah. So you use those for whenever you're out promoting your company, your website. The .lgbt is kind of front and center for your website.
Correct. It's a whole new thing, to be honest with you, and it's going to be all a part of those things. I'll do postings and things like that. So all those .lgbts are linked to our main website as well. Just like I have .org is our main website, but I have .com too, and everything just links to the .org. And the reason I use the .org honestly as the main site is because of our large charity aspect of our business.
Are you going to be out? Is there anything going on in Houston in the real world when it comes to events you're going to be able to be out with?
Of course. So finally, I'm vaccinated. My husband's vaccinated. The world's starting to get vaccinated, hopefully more soon. We're doing outdoor markets.
Okay.
Yeah. So finally, these farmers markets, outdoor markets, and so forth. So I've been doing the East End Farmers Market for the most part, just because it's convenient to home. There's consistency, and I know I can move around to different markets around Houston. But I just made the conscious decision for visibility to continue with one. It's just the best decision I can make right now for the business. All that being said, because they're on Sundays, I'm open to Saturday markets and some specialty markets here and there. I will be doing the Montrose Makers Market in June. They're the second Saturday in June, so I'll be doing that one as well.
Well, you're inspiring me because that's one of my little quirks is that I loved. In fact, that's my project this summer. Is I moved recently to Lehigh Valley in Pennsylvania, and there are farmers markets all over here. So I've made a list and I figured out when and where, and I'm attacking them all this summer so I could figure out like which ones are the ones I'd want to keep going back to. But I think there's a bunch of us that just love going to places like this because that's how you find stuff that you can't normally find.
Absolutely. Besides the fact that I'm good for what I do now as a business, I also haven't, what's the, it's dangerous because I love to shop and I love to support small businesses. So these farmers markets are dangerous. So when I'm there, I'm always purchasing from others. I'm like, thank goodness I make money in my consulting career because I haven't made any money in my startup yet, but it's getting there. So, but they're dangerous, but they're fun.
I'm
And I have some
aware.
other things in the future plans as well that we can talk about if you're interested. So.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that. I was going to say I'm aware of. I end up with peanut butter that I've already got tons of peanut butter in my cupboard, but I end up because it's like I like the vendor. I like their smile, and they're selling this specially homemade peanut butter. How can I not?
Yeah, absolutely. There's in the East End Farmers Market. I love Indian food, so there is a guy who sets up all the the food with all the Indian food, and oh my gosh, every time I'm there, I'm just buying probably too much that I shouldn't be buying, but it's so good. We all have the little things that we like. If there's somebody selling stuff for pets, we have 6 pets in our house, 2 dogs and 4 cats. That'll tell you why Barrio Dogs is so important to us as a charity because they're a great organization that, and I'm kind of glad I went into this because I wanted to tell you all more about them. They help the community of Houston. They're not necessarily a rescue organization. They do help with some of that, but they're about educating the community about spay, neutering, and vaccinations. They hold free vaccination and neuter, spayed events. We rescued a cat from outdoors and they helped us pay for getting it fixed and all that other fun stuff. And it's so important because I'm from up north and it's really not a problem up north, but down here in the South, honestly, people have this weird aversion to taking proper care of their pets. So they're a great organization that really helps. And then of course the AIDS Foundation. I mean, it's a near and dear charity to our community. There's nothing more to say about it. I don't have to tell you what they do. They're out there helping not just the LGBT community, but really the broader community of Houston altogether, just trying to make, to eradicate and to help educate on HIV and AIDS awareness.
Yeah, no, I think it's wonderful. But you had mentioned that you have some future thoughts for kind of what's happening here.
Yes, I have an ultimate dream. At first, originally, I wanted to do a retail space. And retail space, well, we all know what that costs, the overhead. Look what happened during the pandemic and all that other fun stuff. Not saying there never will be a retail space, but to start, there's the biggest trend now are what? Food trucks.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I love to do a food truck, but again, that is honestly a pretty expensive venture, if you will. Much less expensive than retail space, but still expensive. And I'm a startup. If I found an angel investor or somebody who wanted to invest without taking too much of a percentage of the profits to help me get it started, great. But what I'm looking to do is create, take my little Toyota RAV4, put on a trailer hook, and you know how you have sometimes those Boudin trailers or those little trailers that you have on the end, little pop-up windows. I'm looking at doing something like that because it's a lot more affordable. It's not something that I even have the money for, but it might make it easier for me to raise the funds for
Yeah.
something like that.
That totally makes sense, and it's in that concept of a pop up. It's a pop up candy store that could be almost anywhere.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited about this. It'll take some time, but maybe somebody out there will hear about this. I post about things and I'm going to start actually posting about the vision for this hopefully catch somebody's eye, whether it's an angel investor who's like, hey, look, I love what you're doing with this majority of your profits going towards these charities, and I just want to help you out. Or just somebody who's like, look, I just want a little small percentage because I believe in you. I've opened up 8 new hotels in my hospitality career, so I know how to open and start a business. Now, was it easier with the hotels? I will honestly say it was hard work, but it's easier because they have brands behind them, established brands. I'm a whole new concept. It's going to take a little more time. So it's all good.
I love your enthusiasm and energy.
I try. That's me. Everyone's always like, where do you get this energy from? I don't know. Just keep going.
I look forward to being able to hang out with you someday in the real world. I do travel a lot, and I've been to Houston several times, been to Papados and all those good things.
Yeah.
So, but no, it'd be great to be able to, I'd love to be there on a weekend so I can go explore a farmer's market with you.
Absolutely. And I could show you all the other amazing things there are in Houston. I'm actually a New York City native.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, my husband and I moved down here 5 years ago. So, but I go up to New York all the time for my hotel client. And I get to get my New York City fix without the New York City pricing and then come back to an affordable life in Houston.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be very easy for us to connect here in the next,
Absolutely.
this year. So no, thanks so much for just being here and sharing some of your story with our audience. And, like I said, look forward to being able to connect and see where all this goes.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. And I appreciate the opportunity. It's so wonderful to meet you.
Well, take care now.